Hey gang, and welcome back. These videos are brought to you by Card Conduit, the best place to sell your unused collection fast and easily. 401 Games, Canada's top shop for all your hobby and TCG needs. Dragon Shield, the strongest sleeves for your strongest decks. Moxfield, the easiest way to store and share your deck lists. And Foil Armor, flatten your foils fast. Ben wins the die roll and starts us off. He draws and plays an island. Arj's turn has him playing a swamp and passing. Sammy's got a steam vents, which he has come in tapped, and passes. Matt's turn has him drawing and playing a mountain. Ben plays a Fomori Vault, and pays 2 for an arcane signet and ships it. Arja draws, casting Ransack the Lab, and passes after it resolves. Sammy plays a Watery Grave untapped, taking 2, and then casts a Talisman of Dominance. Matt's got a similar turn, playing a Plains and casting a Talisman of Conviction. Ben plays an island, which is a surprise in mono blue, and casts Swiftfoot Boots. He follows up with a reduced costing Emry, and then mills 4 as she comes in. He then pays 1 to hook up the Swiftfoot Boots onto Emry, and passes. Arja just plays a swamp, and casts Xu-Ifit. Sammy's got an island, and he casts Night's Whisper. He draws 2 and loses 2. He then casts a Memory Worm, and passes turn. Matt's got a mountain, and brings out the War Doctor. Ben draws and starts his turn with a Renowned Weaponsmith, and then activates Emry to cast Sky Diamond from his graveyard. After that, Ben passes. Arja draws, plays a swamp, and casts Tormod. He then activates Xu-Ifit to reanimate the Twisted Abomination as a blank creature, and he gets to make a tap zombie from Tormod, seeing creature leave the graveyard. Sammy's got a Dragon Skull Summit, and casts Nathan Drake. The Memory Worm deals 2 to Mathieu, and makes him discard a card, and then draw a card, and Sammy then passes turn. Mathieu plays a Fabled Passage, cracking it to find a Plains. He casts Dave the Doctor, which as it enters, exiles Veto, and he then passes turn. Ben draws, casting a Phyrexian Metamorph, and has it come in as a copy of Emry. The legendary rule applies, and the copy is sacrificed, but Ben still gets to mill 4. Ben then casts a Chemister's Insight, drawing some cards. He continues, playing an island, and then casting Soul Ring. Arja drops a swamp, and then swings Tormod and the zombie token at Ben, and the Twisted Abomination goes at Mathieu. They both take the hit, and Arja then casts Into the Pit. Arja then sacrifices the Twisted Abomination, which allows him to cast Bone Shards off the top thanks to Into the Pit. Arja has to discard a card to Bone Shards, and he destroys the War Doctor. He then activates Xu-Ifit again to reanimate the Twisted Abomination once more. This makes Arja another zombie token, and he passes turn. Sammy takes 2 more as an untapped Blood Crypt comes in, and he casts Shadow of the Goblin. Going to combat, Sammy swings Nathan at Ben, and exiles everyone's top card. This has Sammy casting his own Infernal Grasp, losing 2 life, and destroys Xu-Ifit, and each opponent then takes 1 off the Shadow of the Goblin, and Mathieu takes an extra 2 with the Memory Worm. Ben then takes the hit for 3, and Sammy passes. Matt draws, and in his main phase, upticks the Day of the Doctor, hitting Bergie. He then casts Veto, and plays a Mines of Moria. He follows that up by casting Magmatic Chandler, and passes to Ben. Ben draws, playing out Vidalcan Shackles, and once that resolves, casts Rings of Brighthearth. He passes after that. Arja draws her turn and goes straight to combat, swinging Tormod and the Twisted Abomination at Sammy, and 2 zombie tokens at Ben. They each take the hit, and Arja's second main phase has him casting Raven's Crime off the top thanks to Into the Pit, by sacrificing a zombie token. He has Ben discard a card, and Arja then casts Damnation to wipe the board. Sammy's land drop is a Shivan Reef, and he casts Court of Lochthwain, becoming the monarch. He follows up with Van, Street Thief, and passes to Matt. Matt draws, and his main phase has him getting Valky off the Day of the Doctor, which he then casts. Mathieu then exiles a creature from Ben and Sammy, and then casts Bergie. He passes, and during the end step, Ben activates his Vidalcan Shackles, and copies the ability with the Rings of Brighthearth to steal both Van and Valky. Ben draws and goes to combat, swinging Van at Arja and Valky at Sammy. Both take the hits, and Van exiles a Lotus Petal off the top for Sammy, which he chooses not to cast, and instead gets a treasure. Ben then continues recasting Emry, and he mills 4 as she comes in. He then equips the Swiftfoot Boots onto her, and then casts a Mimic Vat. After that, Ben draws for being the monarch, and passes turn. Arja's got a Swamp, and casts Lightning Greaves. He follows it up by casting Stitch Together, bringing back the Twisted Abomination, and then moves the Lightning Greaves onto it, and goes to combat. He swings the Abomination at Ben, and Ben takes 5, with Arja becoming the monarch. He then passes through his phases, drawing during the end step. Sammy targets Mathieu with the Court of Lochthwain trigger, and then draws for turn. He then discards and draws a Shadow of the Goblin, and then plays a Training Center. Sammy continues with Keeper of Secrets, which Ben decides to counter instead with a Memory Lapse. Sammy then casts Mathieu's Stolen Basilisk Collar, pinging everyone for 1 from casting a spell from exile, and passes. Mathieu draws and puts the final counter on Day of the Doctor, and then plays a Plains in his main phase. He swings Bergie at Arja for 3, and his second main phase has him casting Cunning Rhetoric, and then a Stolen Strategy. After that, Mathieu draws from being the monarch and passes turn. Ben draws, plays an island, and swings Van at Mathieu. On attack, Ben exiles Whir of Invention to Cunning Rhetoric, and Van then connects, exiling Belborca. Ben leaves Belborca in exile and makes a treasure token. He then activates Fomori Vault. He then moves to cast a Mycosynth Golem, and once it's out, activates Emry and targets the Meteor Golem, and pays to copy Emry's ability with Rings of Brighthearth, to allow him to also cast the Phyrexian Metamorph in his graveyard. Ben then casts the Golem from his graveyard, destroying the Stolen Strategy. He then casts the Metamorph, and has it come in as a copy of the Golem, destroying the Court of Lochthwain. Ben then moves to his end step, drawing from being the monarch, and passes. Arja's land drop is a tap Myriad Landscape, and he swings the Abomination at Ben. Ben blocks with the Meteor Golem, and Arja pays to regenerate the Abomination. After combat, Arja sacrifices the Abomination to Costly Plunder, drawing 2, and Ben uses this as a chance to exile the Abomination under his Mimic Vat. Arja then casts an Undead Butler, and follows up by casting Reanimate on the Meteor Golem. This has Arja losing some life, and the Golem enters, destroying the Vidalcan Shackles. Arja then casts an Apprentice Necromancer, and equips it with the Greaves, and passes. Sammy draws and discards to Shadow of the Goblin, and then equips the Basilisk Collar onto Van. Sammy then swings Van at Ben, who takes the hit for 2, and on damage, Ben exiles an island off the top. Sammy makes a treasure with Van's ability, and then moves to his end step, drawing from being the monarch. Mathieu's got a Swamp, and casts Guild Artisan. He then pays 6 to turn Valky into a Tally Primal Storm, and swings it at Ben, and Bergie at Sammy. On attack, a Tally triggers, with Mathieu casting Darksteel Juggernaut, and sees the Spotlight, and everyone chooses to get Mathieu cards and a treasure instead of creature. Sammy and Ben then take their hits, with Mathieu getting the Monarchy, which allows him to draw during his end step as he passes. Ben's turn has him casting a Mox Amber, and then a Simulacrum Synthesizer. He then activates Emry, and he copies the ability with the Rings to help cast Steel Hellkite, and then Vidalcan Shackles from his graveyard, and he gets 2 constructs from the Synthesizer. He then passes turn. Arja starts off by casting an Auric Lore Mage, and moves the Greaves onto it. He activates the Lore Mage to go and find Malborough, and then activates the Necromancer sacrificing it to animate the Malboro. Each opponent takes 2, discards a card, and exiles their top 3. Arja then sacrifices his 3 creatures to help cast Dread Return from his graveyard, and he brings back the Apprentice Necromancer. He then exiles the Undead Butler to get Twisted Abomination to hand. He then swamp cycles the Abomination for a swamp, which he plays. Sammy draws and then discards and draws again to shadow. He casts Call Forth the Tempest and hits a Flaming Tyrannosaurus, and then a Biden of Thassa. Shadow of the Goblin deals 2 to each opponent, and the Flaming Tyrannosaurus deals 3 to Ben's face. Call Forth the Tempest then deals 11 to each opposing creature, and Sammy then goes to combat. This has Ben stealing Van with the Vidalcan Shackles, and with nothing else, Sammy passes. Mathieu's got a swamp, and casts Gaunty, targeting Sammy. He then swings the Juggernaut at Ben since it has to attack, and Ben chumps with Van and gains 2 life. Mathieu then recasts the War Doctor and passes. Ben draws and recasts Emry, milling 4, and then moves the boots onto her. Ben then uses Emry, once more copying her with the rings, to bring back the Mycosynth Golem and Meteor Golem, making 2 more constructs as well. The Meteor Golem destroys the Flaming Tyrannosaurus, which Ben exiles onto the Mimic Vat. Ben then moves the boots onto a construct, and then activates the Shackles and pays for the Rings ability to copy it again, stealing Mathieu's 2 untapped creatures. Mathieu responds with a deflecting swat to at least keep Gaunty, and has the Shackles instead target Meteor Golem. Ben then swings 2 constructs at Mathieu and 1 at Sammy. This has Ben exiling an island to Cunning Rhetoric, and Mathieu trades with 1 construct, but unfortunately gets taken out. Sammy also drops to 2, and Ben then draws from being the Monarch during the end step as he passes turn. Arja draws, cycling Horror of Broken Lands, and then activates his Myriad Landscape to go and find 2 basics. Arja then casts Unearth on the Apprentice Necromancer, and moves the Greaves onto it, and passes. Sammy draws, and then discards and draws again thanks to Shadow of the Goblin. He follows up by casting a Tally Primal Storm, and passes. Ben's got an island, and makes a copy of the Flaming Tyrannosaurus with the Mimic Vat, and then activates Emry, and copies her ability to cast Elixir of Immortality and the Mere Battlesphere. With the Battlesphere on the stack, Arja responds with an Apprentice Necromancer, bringing back the Malboro to take out Sammy. He does so to end Sammy's suffering, as Ben has enough creatures to take them both out in combat, and Ben just swings at Arja, winning the game. Game review time. So the card of the game for me was Emry. She was just such an engine for Ben. She recurred so many valuable artifacts and helped fill up his graveyard, which is both of the things he wants to do. The Simulacrum Synthesizer certainly helped, but I think the fact that he kept recurring that Mycosynth Golem and the Meteor Golem to disrupt his opponents was just so sweet. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, but it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.